Welcome to this week's edition of Ask WWN. I am your host, Michael Burgess. I am the owner and CEO of WorldWrestlingNews.com, and of course, as you know, this podcast is available to listen to live here on Spreaker Web Radio, live on WorldWrestlingNews.com, and live on Twitter and YouTube. As you know, anyone from the WWN staff can answer your questions, but today I have been given the responsibility to do that. And to begin, our first question is, if Steen decides not to resign with TNA Wrestling and ends up in WWE, will that change the WrestleMania 30 lineup that WWE is trying to construct? Well, if WWE is able to land Sting, it would obviously have major implications on the WrestleMania 30 lineup. However, that is still a major if. The company is in the process of constructing a WrestleMania lineup with the assumption that The Rock is not working, and that's the big takeaway thus far. And that became even more evident when promotional information for WrestleMania 30 tickets did not include The Rock. Our next question is, what are the chances we see Matt Morgan show up in WWE? While I'm at it, Hulk Hogan? Jeff Hardy? Well, the chances are actually pretty good, as WWE had interest in Matt Morgan for quite some time now. And Morgan has a rarity because he's a big guy that can work. It's like a center in the NBA. There aren't many of them, and because of that scarcity, there are always and will always be opportunities. I have not heard about a formal offer being extended, but I know there is WWE interest. Hulk Hogan, on the other hand, is the ultimate opportunist that is looking, he is always looking out for what is best for his brand. Hogan and Bischoff have downplayed his inclusion in WWE 2K14, but let's not get it twisted. The bridge is being rebuilt. I don't see Hogan returning to the ring, but I absolutely think he would be a very entertaining person and a very entertaining return to WWE for the merchandise and licensing opportunities. As for Jeff Hardy, he re-signed with TNA back in February, and he's likely going to finish his career there in TNA. Well, our next question is, if neither The Rock nor The Undertaker faces Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 30, who else can face Lesnar at WrestleMania next year? Well, I believe I've answered this question multiple times on episodes of Ask WWN, but to clarify this one more time, right now, WWE is speculating that it will be Brock Lesnar versus Ryback, which would be okay. I wouldn't personally welcome it, but that's not going to stop the talk. I know for a fact that Undertaker was interested in working Lesnar last year, but was told that's not the plan going into the fall. At this point, I want to wait and hear from a couple of my WWE sources speculating right now on possible opponents for Taker and Lesnar, but the one thing that you can take to the bank is that both will be involved in major matches at the pay-per-view. Our last question, with both Tara and Mickie James recently leaving TNA, do you see either women going back to WWE, and if so, is WWE interested in having them back? Well, I was told WWE's interest in Mickie James was minimal and that she is currently in negotiations with TNA Wrestling about a new contract. And TNA provides Mickie with a good opportunity because she is also pursuing a career as a country music artist. Tara has great connections within WWE, and while I don't think she is aged a bit, the fact that she's 42 concerns me that WWE would not be interested in her returning as an on-air talent. Well, that was this week's edition of Ask WWN, and remember that all editions will be live now, starting with this 11th edition, and remember to send your questions in to AskWWN@WorldWrestlingNews.com, or tweet us your question at WWrestlingNews using our official hashtag AskWWN, and thank you for tuning in to this podcast.